Hello, uncle. You said gold का option was safe, क्या? Okay, uncle, I'll think about it. Thank you. Hey, Sahil, how are you, dude? Like, you remember you told me about this mutual fund that give you like really good returns. What was the name again? Hello? 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 How many people have you called today? Everyone. My mama is suggesting me gold. Sahil is suggesting some equity fund. My uncle's neighbor made his money in real estate. My head is spinning. And what did you decide? Dude, nothing. That's the problem. I have 20 lakhs saved up. Nana ji left us some about 40 lakhs. So I have 60 lakhs to invest. And I genuinely have no idea where to start. Chill, it's not that complicated. Basically, you have gold, equity, and real estate. And you can convert your 60 lakhs into 2 to 3 crores using a strategy that most Indians entirely ignore. But before we start investing, tell me something important. Why do you want to invest? What's the goal here? Security and wealth building, I guess. I just don't want to be one of those people who ends up losing their family's money. Nana worked so hard for that amount. Good answer, but security can mean different things. Let me break this down properly. You see, different goals need different answers, and there are basically 3 types of investment goals. First, short-term goals, maybe 3 to 5 years, like saving for a car, wedding, or a house down payment. Here, safety and liquidity matter the most. You need to get your money back without any major losses. Second are long-term goals, 10, 15, maybe even 20 years, like retirement, children's education, or building serious wealth. Here, growth matters the most. You can handle some ups and downs because time is on your side. Third is stability in emergencies. This is your safety net. Medical emergencies, job loss, unexpected expenses. Here, you don't want fancy returns. You just want your money safe and available. Okay, so you have 60 lakhs. What is your goal with this? Are you trying to build long-term wealth, or is this your emergency fund, or is this an amount that you will need in the next few years? I am 26 and have a job, so this is not exactly emergency money. Maybe I just want to grow it for the future, maybe own a house someday. Just have it secure, for times ahead. Perfect. So you see, that makes a huge difference because gold, equity, and real estate work differently depending on your goals. What makes sense for a 26-year-old growing wealth is completely different from a 50-year-old trying to protect it. And now that we know that you are trying to build long-term wealth, let's see how gold, equity, and real estate perform for that specific goal. First and foremost, let's get the basics clear. What is equity? When you buy stocks, you're literally buying small pieces of companies, and when you invest in mutual funds, you're letting professional fund managers buy those pieces of companies for you. They take your money, mix it with thousands of other people's money, and buy shares of 50 to 100 different companies. Okay, but like, how much money are we talking about? What kind of returns do people really get? Now let's look at NIFTY 50. These are basically the top 50 companies in India. Recent academic research analyzing the period from 2019 to 2024 shows that NIFTY 50 delivered an annualized return of 14.26% with a median return of 11.82%. This means that most investors earned around 11 to 12% annually. But markets also crash, right? Like, what about that? Yes, of course, crashes do happen. During 2008 and then during COVID, markets crashed by almost 30 to 60%. But those who panicked and sold during crashes lost money, and the ones who stayed invested or bought more while the prices were low made the biggest profits. After the 2008 crash, Nifty took about 3 years to recover, but then it went even higher. Same with COVID, it recovered 105% from the crash low to hit new peaks by February 2021. But what if I invest all my money in the market one day and it crashes the next day? That's where SIPs become your biggest friend. Instead of investing 20 lakhs immediately, start investing 50,000 every month for the next 20 months. When the markets are high, you buy fewer units, and when they crash, you buy more units. Over time, it averages out. This is called rupee cost averaging. You keep investing and the market keeps averaging it out for you. The thing about equity is that it needs patience. Short term, it's like a mood swing, up and down all the time. But in the long term, it's proven to be pretty reliable. If you look at history, since about 1999, every 7-year holding period for the Nifty 50 TRI has delivered positive returns. In fact, in the 23 plus years, there hasn't been a single case of negative returns for a 7-year span. Now, since equity is super liquid, you can sell your funds or stocks within a day or two and get your money. Now, try doing that with a house. It'll take months, probably even years. Okay, but where do I even start? How do I actually invest money in equity? That's exactly where Grow comes in. It's India's biggest investment platform with over 5 crore active users. You can start an SIP with as little as 500 rupees and invest in mutual funds, stocks, and even gold, everything in one place. And the best part, zero commission on mutual funds, and honestly, it's the easiest way to get started. But please remember that if you need this money in the next few years, stocks are probably not the place to be. So please match your timeline to what you're investing in. Okay, so now that you know how to start investing in equity, let's talk about another asset class that every Indian family swears by: gold. Every Indian household has some. Your mom probably tells you to buy some gold every Dhanteras. Your relatives also say gold kabhi ghatega nahi, and looking at the recent numbers, they might be right. Gold gave 26% returns in 2024, and the prices have increased from 18,500 in 2010 to around 64,000 in 2024. And now more than 1 lakh in 2025. Looking at these returns, I'm sure you're tempted to put most of your money in gold. It's appreciating fast, so it'll keep going up, right? But this is exactly why you shouldn't do it. You see, gold is cyclical. Sometimes it gives amazing returns and sometimes it remains flat for years. Between 2011 and 2020, returns were barely 5 to 6% per year. The main problem with gold is that it doesn't generate income. Stocks give dividend, properties give rent, even fixed deposit gives you interest. But gold, it just sits there hoping that someone will pay for it more tomorrow than you paid for it today. Yes, gold has grown wealth for people, but primarily during crisis periods or inflationary cycles. The families who benefited were those who bought decades ago and held through multiple cycles. Most financial advisors suggest about 5 to 10% of your portfolio in gold, just enough to provide stability during market turbulence. During highly uncertain times like current geopolitical tensions, you might stretch it to 15%, but never more. Now let's break down how you can actually own gold as an investment. Number 1 is buying physical gold. You can buy both gold coins and jewelry, but jewelry comes with a 10 to 25% making charges plus 3% GST. And even then you face resale and storage issues. So it's expensive and inconvenient for just purely investing. Number 2 is digital gold. Apps let you start for as little as 100 rupees, but you still need to pay a 3% GST, and resale prices are often weaker with added risk, often depending on platforms' trustworthiness. And number 3, gold ETFs and mutual funds. These track gold prices directly, have lower costs, and can be sold instantly in the market. They require a demat account, and unlike digital gold, you can't convert them into physical gold, but for investors, they are far more efficient. So for this small allocation, skip physical gold entirely. So if you're buying gold purely for investment reasons and not as jewelry or emotional purposes, gold ETFs are your best bet. Gold ETFs provide far more transparency and lower charges for larger investments, and the liquidity advantage is significant. In fact, gold ETFs gave nearly 50% returns in the last year alone, and in 2025, they've already returned about 44%. Gold mutual funds work well too, especially for SIP investments, but they have slightly higher expense ratio. So your relatives aren't wrong. Gold does preserve value over decades, but they're also not telling you about the opportunity cost. That same money in diversified equity funds would historically give much more, even after accounting for gold's stellar recent run. Gold protects during crisis, but don't treat it as your primary wealth builder. Keep it at 5 to 15% of your portfolio, mainly as a hedge. Gold's emotional value, the family happiness, cultural connection, and the sense of security matter. but recognize them for what they are: emotional benefits, not financial logic. Buy some gold for these reasons if you want, but don't confuse sentiment with investment strategy. And finally, real estate, the classic Indian obsession. The only advice every Indian uncle will ever give you is zameen le lo beta, safe hai. But let's be honest about what 60 lakhs can actually get you. In Mumbai, decent areas see property prices around 17,000 to 22,000 per square feet. With 60 lakhs, you'd roughly get 270 to 350 square feet, which is barely a 1 BHK in distant suburbs like Virar, Nalasapora or Vasai. And good luck with that daily commute. In Delhi NCR, you're looking at Ghaziabad Phase 2 or some far-off area in Greater Noida. In Bangalore, it's outskirts of Sarjapur Road or Electronic City Phase 2. And none of these are really prime locations. Now with 60 lakhs, you could buy a 2 BHK or a 3 BHK in a Tier 2 city like Lucknow, Jaipur or Coimbatore. This sounds great, but these cities don't appreciate as fast as Tier 1 cities. The growth is slower and the rental market is not that strong. Now let's talk about rental yields. Mumbai gives you 2 to 2.5% rental yield. Delhi NCR might give you 2 to 3%. Bangalore gives about 3 to 4%. And in Tier 2 cities, you're looking at 3 to 4% rental yields, which sounds amazing, but the absolute amounts are much lower. And then there are those hidden costs: registration, lawyer fees, stamp duty. That's 4 to 7 lakhs gone immediately. Plus add to that ongoing maintenance, property tax and society charges. And liquidity, forget about it. In Tier 1 cities, it takes about 3 to 6 months to sell a house. In Tier 2 cities, it can take 6 months to 2 years to sell a house. All these things are worth it if you're buying the house to live in it. But for investment purposes, is it really worth to invest so much for such little return? Okay, but what if I still want to invest in real estate? What are my options here? Don't worry, you can still invest in real estate with REITs. REITs are like mutual funds but for real estate. You can own pieces of commercial properties like offices, malls and warehouses, and they give better returns at 6 to 7.5% than residential real estate, that's 2 to 3%. And you can buy and sell easily. So instead of getting a 1 BHK in Nala Sobara, I get pieces of premium office spaces in BKC. Exactly, that makes way more sense, doesn't it? But also remember that REITs are still linked to property markets and interest rate cycles, so returns can fluctuate. They are sturdier than residential property, but not risk-free. Okay, I think now I get it. Equity gives you really high growth, but is extremely volatile. Gold is safe, but grows really slowly. Real estate requires insane capital, so REITs are a better option. But the question still remains, which one should I choose? That's exactly where most people get stuck. They think that they have to choose one among gold, equity or real estate. But that's not how smart investing works. Okay, so now let's see what your 60 lakhs can become in the next 15 years. Most people put all their money in either gold, equity or real estate. And that's where they go wrong. If you put everything in one basket, here's what could happen. All equity could give you 3.3 to 4.8 crores in 15 years at an average of 12 to 15% returns. All gold could give you 1.9 to 2.5 crores in the next 15 years at an average of 8 to 10% returns. All REITs could give you 2.5 to 3.2 crores in the next 15 years at 10 to 12% returns. And before you say all equity it is, remember how we talked about volatility and market crashes? Gone. But here's where smart investing comes in. Instead of putting all your eggs in one basket, let's try and diversify the risk. At 26 with a 15 to 20 year timeline, this is what makes sense. 60% equity, that's 36 lakhs. This will be your main wealth creator. 20% in gold, which is 12 lakhs. This will give you your safe hedge. 15% in REITs, that's about 9 lakhs. This generates steady income throughout. And 5% emergency fund, that's about 3 lakhs. This will give you your safety net. But why this combination? Equity gets the biggest share since it grows the fastest. Since companies keep growing their profits in over 15 to 20 years, the compounding builds far more wealth than gold, real estate, or fixed income. But equity is volatile, so gold acts as your shock absorber. When markets crash, gold usually holds steady. Last year, gold gave 26% returns, while REITs gave 12 to 15% returns. even when equity struggled. And finally, a small emergency fund means that you never have to sell your investments in panic if life throws you a surprise. But wait, there is more to the story. You don't invest the entire amount of 60 lakhs in one go. It's called lump sum investing, and it's risky because of the timing. What if you invest everything today and the markets crash tomorrow? So here's how ideally you should invest your money. Instead of investing 60 lakhs in one go, start with 20 lakhs immediately and then invest the remaining 40 lakhs gradually over the next few years through systematic investment plans. Your 60 lakhs could realistically become 2.2 to 2.8 crores 15 years with this balanced approach. It's not as high as pure equity, but it's much more stable and you get regular income from REITs. From year 2 onwards, you'll start getting regular cash flow too. Your REIT dividends will give you around 50,000 to 60,000 annually. Some equity funds also give dividends. This money can either be reinvested or used for your expenses. And this isn't just theory, you know. A lot of portfolio managers use this allocation for young investors. The key is discipline. Stick to your SIPs, reinvest your REIT dividends when they come in, and don't panic when markets swing up and down. Because they will swing, that's guaranteed. But with this mix, you're prepared for whatever comes. And that's really the point. You don't have to worry about chasing the hottest tip or timing the market. If your money is balanced across the right places, you can stop worrying and get on with living your life. And remember that starting is much more important than being perfect. You can always learn and improve your portfolio later. If you are in your 20s or 30s, you have something amazing: your time. Don't waste it by waiting for the perfect opportunity to start investing. Use the plan we talked about today. Put 60% in equity, 20% in gold, 15% in REITs, and 5% as emergency money. Or start even simpler. Just start with a 2,000 rupee a month SIP. Just right now, pause this video, open Grow on your phone and start your first SIP. And remember that markets go up and down. Past performance does not guarantee future results. The key is to think long-term and stay consistent. If you want advice that's tailored to your specific situation, talk to a financial advisor. This video is meant to educate and guide you and not replace professional advice. If this video helped you understand how to combine equity, gold, and real estate, hit like and subscribe. And let me know in the comment section what is your investment allocation. See you next time.